Hey, this is a quick stateroom tour of an inside cabin on Norwegian's Pride of America. This is 13007. We love to decorate our doors as well as we put this little whiteboard that's magnetic on, and we use that to leave messages to each other when we're going to and from locations on the cruise ship or out. And it's a great way because if you don't have internet access, you can communicate while you're doing that. So let's check it out. All right, inside the stateroom, ours is an inside stateroom, obviously. So you can obviously have up to 4 people here with these pull-down style beds. Here is one of those beds that is constructed up. They pull down. There's 3 of us in the room right now, and the sleeping quarters are quite tight. In this configuration, it is configured as a queen, or you can split that. It is configured as a king. Or you can split that up to be configured as 2 twin beds that can be pulled apart. And this table back here, which has 2 layers of storage, can be put in the middle of the 2 twins. So you basically have what is the equivalent of 2 twin beds stacked up in a configuration like that. This is the configuration we went with. And as a little bit of feedback, we did tell Norwegian that we wanted to have a king configuration, and unfortunately it was still in the twins when we got here. Our stateroom attendant was excellent. He did it in less than an hour, got us up and running. Not a big deal at all. I love the flower that is on the back of this. It really adds a modern touch and it helps the stateroom to feel crisp and clean. You will notice that there are actually 4 lights which are activated by switch on the light. There's 2 lights for the bottom 2 passengers and 2 lights for the passengers up top for a total of 4. So if you need to do a little bit of reading when everyone else is asleep, you can do that as well. The room is kind of dark, if I'm being super honest with you, but otherwise no issues. You can see some of the areas here where the bed is showing a little bit of a sign of age and wear, but otherwise our son really enjoyed that. The walls are quote unquote slightly magnetic. So you can do things like hooks and magnets and that sort of thing on the wall. One thing that we do on the cruise is we do use this, which is a shoe item that you can order from Amazon. And then we use these magnetic hooks. So that gives us a lot more storage than we had initially. So we can store things like laundry supplies, playing cards. We got some deodorant in here, some Clorox wipes, Tide wipes, all those kinds of things. You do have your standard door lock here, but you can also lock the door from the inside so that you have an extra added layer of security. And it has an old school temperature control. The temperature control, I don't think we've ever touched on the entire time we've been here. It's been a nice, cool room when we needed it. The one thing I'll say is this lock here, I don't know if you can demonstrate that. The lock here, it doesn't lock. We really had to wiggle it. We haven't had to use it very much. But if that's important to you, you want to make sure that you're talking to your stateroom attendant about that, because for most of the cruise, with the exception of one day, we had a lot of trouble locking that door. So that was a little bit of a bummer. This is an old ship and the stateroom is old. So you're going to see a lot of dated things that are kind of dated as we go about that, and you'll see like scuffs and scratches on the walls. This is not a perfect stateroom in terms of modernness at all. They clearly did not focus on, the older staterooms. You can see here, it's probably actually cannot see that, but our carpet had like a weird yellow stain on it. That was kind of a bummer. And if you can look here on the cabinets, you'll see the cabinets have a lot of scuffs. And I mean a lot of scuffs. That was probably one of the disappointing things about our stateroom, is this is actually something that's really easy to touch up. And the fact that it wasn't touched up, I think as a sign of, I'm just going to honestly say, like, it's a sign of poor maintenance. Like, you can really easily touch that up and clean that up, and it detracts from the experience. But let's get back over here to the main part of the stateroom. This is this thing right here, which is a light that is motion activated. So at nighttime, you can activate that light. That is literally a lifesaver at nighttime. Saves you from having to go around and do all of that work. What you see here is just a bunch of metal hooks that we've placed on the wall to allow us to put things like hats, leis, necklaces, all that sort of thing. Clips for the dailies, and it just saves space because every little bit of space in an interior cabin really matters. Speaking of which, you'll see here the one master big window right there that's going to have most of your space there. 2 outlets, 2 normal outlets, and a 220 as well. The 220 was actually not activated. I don't know why, but yeah. So a really old school telephone. For some reason, we kept getting a bunch of messages on that phone. Your remote right there for your very small television, which is right there. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 storage areas, and then a mini fridge. And it is pre-stocked with a bunch of items that you'll pay for, but you can still use them. Oh, looks like we still have some cannolis in there, but they've got some items that you can use for storage. Or sorry, they've got some items as well that you've got. Your room does come with a little bit of an overview of your room and mini bar service. One thing that changed from our last time on Norwegian is there is now a charge for room service. So it's either, I think $5 or $6, depending on what you get. Just feels like they're trying to take $5 here, $5 there every time they can. It's $4.95 for continental breakfast room charge. I might actually do that tomorrow. I don't know. It might be worth the $4 yeah, might be worth that. So yeah, quickly moving over now. There is a drain here. That's the first time I've ever seen that on a ship. I've never seen a drain on a. It almost looks like something from the days, but when you could smoke on a ship, I don't know. That's what it looks like. But you can't smoke on a cruise ship. So you've got 1, 2, 3 little shelf areas to store things. As you can see, we've got all of them occupied, including by this bad boy right here, Mr. Quacker's that we won in the arcade. So you got storage here, second layer of storage underneath. Really, really helpful. You have these 2 full cabinet areas where you can store your clothes right there. And then, yep, we're not done. There's another one right here, full wardrobe closet with 1, 2, 3 layers. Hopefully no one's underwear. And then 2 beneath right here, 1 and 2. One of those is occupied by a life jacket. Both of them are occupied by a life jacket. We maximize that storage with the wall space there. In the corner, we put a little laundry basket, but more hooks above. And now everyone wonders about this one, which is the bathroom. Not my favorite bathroom on a cruise ship, but more spacious than I was anticipating. Got your standard cruise ship style toilet. Got a nice refreshed shelf. You have your Kleenex area there and 2 shelves if you need to put toiletries. Does have the swinging mirror right here, as well as the soap dispenser. You've got your towel area up there, standard mirror. The shower was actually great. The shower had a ton of pressure. You have 3 modes of the shower. You have the overhead waterfall style. Then you have these 6 jets that can just spray you out with the jets if you'd like. And then you do have this wand style right here, which allows you to use a shower wand. They do include the Nourish and Revive options for you. Now, here's what I would say. This shower flooded every single time. Every time we took a shower, it flooded. Part of that was because the ship was moving a lot, and there were times when our interior stateroom was tilting noticeably. But every single time the shower flooded. I don't think it was necessarily an issue with drainage as much as it was just the design, the age of the ship, and the fact that in our itinerary, the ship was moving a lot. You can see that this happens often from the mold and rust. If you look right here, there's probably hard to see on the screen, but there's a ton of rust in that area. It's designed that way. You're going to have the design of the ship where you have this ledge here. A bunch of water can get in there before it causes any kind of trouble. But the one thing that's actually never happened to us on a cruise before was a shower that flooded. But every time we took a shower, it flooded. Every single time we took a shower, it flooded. And that was a bummer because it's extra work that you were not anticipating dealing with. However, in this particular stateroom, you've got the shower drain right there, as well as this additional drain that are designed to mitigate that and make that, not as bad. So, it's unfortunate. Like I said, never happened to me before, but we just kind of learned to live with it over time and learned to focus on the other parts of our trip. So that is the interior stateroom of the Norwegian Pride of America. We always used to be balcony people when we booked cruises, but the reality is we love to be outside or at the pool or on deck or at dining. And so we found ourselves not really spending as much time in the balcony of our stateroom. So we do really enjoy a good small interior stateroom. Plus the fact that the space is not so big allows us to really prioritize our time outside of the room. This is more than enough room to sleep, be comfortable. And in our case, we had big luggage for 3 people on a 7-day cruise to Hawaii. And there was really never an issue with feeling overcrowded. There was still extra space if we really needed it. And remember, on your cruise ship, if you're not using that under the bed space right there to store your luggage, you're really missing out. So remember to do that too, because you buy yourself a ton of extra space. So overall, if I'm being super honest with you, on all of the interior staterooms that I've had on all of the Norwegian fleet, this one is probably the second to the worst. I don't know how else to say that any other way. The Bliss stateroom we had was amazing. The Viva stateroom was amazing. Breakaway had a little bit of opportunity. And compared to something like, this is the closest to our second favorite cruise ship, which is the Sapphire Princess. This stateroom reminds me a lot of the Sapphire Princess interior stateroom, with one exception. It's actually much smaller. And the configuration is weird. So again, I've never seen an interior stateroom where you have your door, your bed's there, and then your bathroom is there. That is a weird configuration, but we got used to it and it really wasn't a problem. There's nothing problematic about the stateroom. So, this meets my overarching theme. NCL's Pride of America is a really good, very clean cruise ship. It definitely shows its signs for aging all over the ship. There's no place that it shows more signs of aging than in the staterooms. The staterooms is the place it shows the most signs of aging, which, considering it recently had a dry dock, I think is actually the most disappointing, because they had the opportunity to really refresh, revamp, and update those staterooms. But if you're looking for stateroom 13007 or a similarly configured stateroom, I hope this review has been helpful. I do hope you can click that follow button, because it helps us to bring you more content like that, which we'll give to you for free with our time, energy, and effort, because we love cruising. We hope you love cruising. And if you're wondering, should I go on Pride of America or not? Let me tell you, the ship is in great shape. The crew is amazing. And even though this is not my favorite stateroom, we slept comfortably, safely, and soundly every single night. Part of the adventure is learning the different ins and outs of every single cruise ship, learn the ins and outs of Norwegian's Pride of America. And honestly, I think you'll be quite happy with your experience.